It's not Happy Gilmore sitting in front of the softball machine, 100 miles an hour, just getting strong for the season. We can, have those important reps, but not at the risk of our buddies, maybe taking one off the collarbone. Yeah, my name is Steve Thompson. I'm the manager of goaltending for USA Hockey. Yeah, so the position is really about how do we make sure that the goalies in our country have the best experience possible at the rink, and that could stem from coaching education, parent education, player development, anything under the sun, goaltending, and how to make it better. Yeah, traffic's such a huge element of our game and something that's hard for us to train. It requires a lot of people. A lot of times in our goalie lessons, we don't have access to a lot of shooters at times. So, usually it's just at team practices or it's just in our games that we get that real life environment where we have a lot of players, but that's not always something that we have access to. But yet in games, that's such an important part of what we need to train and be prepared to fight through screens, to find sight lines, to be able to make reads off of all the bodies in front, and the puck hits bodies and goes certain ways. So there's lots of value there and a necessity that we have to train. Yeah, I would say, in the more historical sense, it was making sure that you had bodies in front. Sometimes you'd use props and props were fine, but props aren't live and it's hard to make reads off of cones that don't move, or even if we use goalies in front, and that was another strategy that we used often, it's still not the same fidelity as a player that actually is making reads off of the play. So, I think one of the bigger benefits of having Sense Arena as an option to work on some traffic is you can get those real live reps of, video of traffic in front. And now you don't have to be calling 12 buddies to get in front of you. They don't have to be risk getting hit with pucks in front and not wearing proper equipment. So I think there's a player safety element that the virtual reality brings to the table. But more than anything, we just know that training demands reps, and you need lots of reps, and this is a great way that we can get those reps without having all the logistics and price points that come with that. Yeah, there's lots of different decisions that have to be made, whether it's knowing which side of the traffic to look on. Is it the strong side or the weak side? Knowing, is it a flash screen, a static screen? Where the weak side of the ice has going, is there an option for a rebound on that side? And does that change our depth management? There's just so many different factors that come with when there's a lot of chaos in front of us. And I'd say another element that maybe we don't get to train in our typical sessions often when there's not traffic is just what information is valuable to us and what we need to ignore. And I'd say the more stimuli we have in front of us, whether it's traffic or what it is, we're now teaching the goalies, okay, this is important information that I actually need to make decisions off of, and this information is not as important. So that in games, they're prioritizing the right things to put energy into. Yeah, I think that's really the bread and butter, is being able to see the puck as it's being released, so that you get the cues off the blade and the body language, and then the general area it's going in. And even if there's ends up being a flash screen or you're shifting into another screen, you at least know which areas of the net you're trying to protect. But if you have no idea where that puck's released, now you're just guessing. And I think that's the real challenge, is how can I find that puck before it's released to get the information I need, and then you can at least shift into the right space and make the saves that we need to hit with. You can see a lot of different levels of hockey. So you can see players that are a lot better than you and older than you and larger than you, and get that experience of what traffic might be like when they're a lot taller, faster, stronger. But then you can also look and see kids your own age, and I think that age appropriateness is really important. Obviously, the size of the traffic is going to determine the strategies you have to get around it. The different play sets that you can now create, you can customize the way that traffic is going to interface with the game, and you have the ability to put yourself in a flash screen, a static screen, all these different options that you can kind of create yourself, knowing what you need to work on. And now you can create this playground to get a lot of reps, figure it out on your own. I think the other benefit, you don't necessarily have an adult telling you what to do. It's your world. You get to create it. You can customize the environment you want, and then you get to figure out how you're going to solve that puzzle. And you might not have an adult yelling at you, which is another benefit to doing it on your own, kind of like a video game.